Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the No Gimmicks Podcast, the No Gimmicks Podcast here on the DFPN. We appreciate you guys tuning in. We got a great show for you guys tonight. If you're listening to the sounds of our voices and you're now watching us live, do yourself a favor. Go to the Patreon, patreon.com/datfillingpodcast. As little as $3. Gets you in the door. You can watch all these broadcasts as they happen. You can interact live with us. Don't forget, subscribe to the Bandcamp. We got a whole bunch of new music on the way. datfeeling.bandcamp.com. We also have merch available at the Teespring. We have some brand new merch coming from No Gimmicks. New logos are on the way. We're going to be rolling out a new design, and that will be on the shirt. So do yourself a favor, go to teespring.com, search for That Feeling Podcast, cop you some No Gimmicks gear. Shout out to specifically in our No Gimmicks Podcast group, Bubba John, really good cat, man. He stays up north. They have a podcast, the Bob Culture Podcast. They're really supportive of No Gimmicks, so I want to give them some time real quick to shout them out. They cop the merch. They promote the show. They're really awesome folks, man. So shout out to the Bob Culture Podcast. Shout out to Bubba John. Shout out to everybody up there at ISPW as well. Thank you guys for the support. We really do appreciate that shit, for real, for real. So thank y'all for rocking with us. Oh, last thing too. August 12th, Mission Pro Wrestling, San Antonio, Texas. We will be there. We will be in the building. So if you're in San Antonio and you want to come hang out with the No Gimmicks crew, August 12th, San Antonio, Texas, Mission Pro Wrestling. Go to missionprowrestling.com, get yourself some tickets. Come hang out with us. We'll be watching the show live, and let's have some fun out there. To my co-host, the fabulous one, Frankie D. What's up, man?
What's up, Mr. Mac? How are you, sir?
I am doing copacetic as hell. First and foremost, before we get into the show tonight, I want to thank you as well, bro. Like, you did some excellent work. You got us some high profile interviews lined up, doing some big boss shit over there. I see you. Thank you very much for making that shit happen.
Right. So if you don't know, then you should know. Next week, it's going to be a big deal for No Gimmicks here on the DFPN. We are going to have on Tuesday, we're going to be interviewing Mr. Neil Pruitt. Now, you might be wondering, who's Neil Pruitt? Neil Pruitt is the man behind the voice of the NWO. So you remember back in the day, you were here, the following announcement.
New world.
Right. The following announcement paid for by the New World. That was Neil Pruitt. So Neil Pruitt is going to talk to us about everything WCW and the creation of the NWO. Neil Pruitt worked in production for WCW. He did a lot of stuff that you saw on TV. So we're going to basically go in a time travel, go back in time and talk about WCW. And that's going to be next Tuesday coming up on August the 8th. Yep. Okay, we're going to be doing that here. And no, that's going to be a Patreon exclusive interview. So if you are not a member of the Patreon, you need to jump on. And then August the 9th, we got something in store here. We have former WWF superstar, and this guy was a big deal back in the day. All right. Intensity, off the chain.
Yes.
The man was Goldberg before there was a Goldberg.
Correct.
He made his impact in the business. All right. The man started off right here in Texas, in Dallas at Global. Went on to the WWF. Finished up at WCW as a member of Harlem Heat 2000. I am talking about the one, the only Ahmed Johnson. Ahmed Johnson comes to No Gimmicks Podcast next Wednesday, and we're going to talk about his entire career, and we're going to talk about some stories that are going on out there Was he stretched by D'Lo Brown? Did he keep the Road Warriors shoulder pads?
Yes.
We're going to talk about all of this coming up next week, right here on the DFPN, the No Gimmicks Podcast. If you are not a Patreon member, you need to become a Patreon.
Now is the time.
Little as $3. All right, that's less than a Starbucks cup of coffee. $3 to get you exclusive content, not only not only from the No Gimmicks crew, but you got the Smoke Pig crew, you got the Nerd crew, you got all the content right here that you can get right here on the DFPN for as low as $3 starting you off right now. Join the Patreon so you can get on here with these exclusive interviews that we got scheduled for next week. It's going to be a tell-all. It's a big deal for us, and we hope all you people out there that listen to the No Gimmicks podcast and support the No Gimmicks podcast, and also support everybody else on the DFPN, because 2023 and beyond is going to be our year, and we are starting next week. Also, real quick, while I can, this coming Saturday here in Castroville, Texas. If you're here in South Central Texas, Castroville, Texas, Dog Pound Championship Wrestling. It's going to be here with the Shot and Ball Slam. All right, so check it out. It's going to be at 2374 US Highway 90, Castroville, Texas. Bell time is at 8 p.m. It's the Stars Dog Pound Championship Wrestling. Check it out this coming Saturday night. If you're not going to be watching the SummerSlam, because we all know why we be watching SummerSlam, Roman versus Jay. So, if you're not going to watch that, and you're here in South Central Texas, specifically San Antonio, in Castroville, come out, watch Dog Pound Championship Wrestling, go out there, kick some ass, do their thing. That's all I got.
Hey man, that Dog Pound Championship Wrestling card looks loaded. I saw the flyer for it. It looks absolutely loaded. So.
Yeah, girl, Missy Marks is going to be on there.
Yeah, hell yeah,
hell yeah. So, it's gonna be a good show. They always produce out there. You got a bunch of kids out there that are in the school that's going to be participating on the show. So it's going to be nonstop, man. So check it out. If you're here in Castroville, Texas, check it out. Dog Pound Championship Wrestling, Shannon Ball Sam. This coming Saturday, once again, 2374 US Highway 90. Check it out.
Yes, sir. All right, man. Let's get into the show. First thing on the docket. We were actually supposed to do this last night, but you wanted to watch the doc. So
it's funny. We were literally right here last night, and we're all ready to go. And then you brought up the doc, and you asked me, "Oh, have you seen the Cody Rhodes documentary?" I'm like, "No." So I'm like, "Let me check it out." Yeah, watch it. So I did watch it. I watched until the part where Cody is coming back to the WWE, and that's when I stopped watching. So
I pretty much tuned out right there too. So it's perfect. It's perfect. So we can talk up to that point because we know what's happening now anyway. That's the ending of the doc. So we know where that is. But what's your overall take on it?
I mean, it's okay. I mean, I'll probably watch it once. It's not like something must see. It was cool to go and see the footage of Dusty and hear the stories about Dusty, and knowing a little bit more about Cody. But I don't know. My emotion is basically, I think the saddest part of the whole thing was hearing about Dusty's passing and what, that whole thing. That really, that part was sucky. And then hearing that Dusty had, in fact, was broke, that was terrible. But in saying that, it's obvious that Cody thought high of himself, and so did Dusty. And Cody took a chance on going out there in the Indies. He could have had that guaranteed contract, had that guaranteed money, but he wasn't happy. He didn't want to say that was
a hell of a move.
Absolutely. So I got that out of it. I don't know. It's very, very interesting that Dusty Rhodes is nowhere on this doc.
That's interesting that you mentioned that. Now that I think about it, because that it didn't run through my mind, but that's interesting.
Yeah, I didn't see Dustin. Um, Obviously, they're
Hmm.
talking about All In, but AEW has the All In video, so
Right,
that wasn't gonna happen.
right. Just the fact that they brought it up was, to me, I think significant because they
Right.
didn't have to go there. Um, Being that he did leave, them addressing that in the documentary that he did leave and he went out to the Indies. He was on. Then they said this in the doc. He was pretty much on every independent show that he could be on, getting his exposure out there. And then them addressing New Japan. I thought that was a pretty cool part of it. And but they didn't have to go there, especially bringing up the Young Bucks and his relationship with the Young Bucks. So I thought that was pretty significant. Them mentioning just that relationship and how All In led to AEW, and then them actually mentioning AEW
Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised that they mentioned AEW because you cannot tell Cody Rhodes' story without
without
mentioning
it.
AEW. Now,
Right.
here's what I take from it as well. I get it. Cody came back with tremendous fanfare. Cody, kind of feels he earned that spot that he's in right now. I just, for the life of me, I still don't think that they see him as this mega superstar. I
You
just,
don't think so?
no, I don't.
Hmm.
I don't. I think they got Cody because Cody was available and they found out he was available. Cody wanted to come back to win the championship his father never did. But in saying that, you know, they're talking the rumors right now is that next year at WrestleMania, Cody versus Roman Part 2. I don't know, man. They went into Mania this year with that story, tell the story, finish the story. That was the time to do it. That was the
Mm.
time.
I get your thinking on
I
that.
knew it wasn't going to happen. I knew it wasn't going to happen. And you hear the stories about how disappointed Cody was that it wasn't happening. But in saying that, I just don't think that they see him as a top star as they try to put on in this documentary. I mean, originally, listen, Cody was there before. What's so different now? Oh, that he went out and became a journeyman, and then what? It's the same guy.
So let me ask you a question. Because in the documentary they addressed something, and that was the fact that Vince McMahon actually flew out to his house, and they negotiated his return to WWE. And just the fact that Vince flew out to his house, I thought says a lot about what Vince thinks of him. I could be wrong about this, but you don't hear stories of Vince flying out to see people. You hear stories of people flying out to see Vince and going to Vince's house and them negotiating contracts there. I haven't heard. This is the first story I've heard of him going to anyone and actually seeking them out. Now, I could be wrong about that, but to me, it indicates a lot.
I don't think it indicates anything.
You know,
I no, I don't. That's no different than him going to Hulk Hogan's house, or something like that, or
this is Hulk Hogan.
well, meeting Steve Austin after their after Steve Austin's walkout.
Yeah, but listen to the two
I
names
I,
you
I,
just brought
I,
up.
I I get that. I get that part. But it's basically okay, this guy is an EVP of a competition company that was just created. So if he becomes available, I think it'd be a nice coup to pick him up because we can say, screw you. We got Cody Rhodes.
So you think this was a smoke and mirrors move?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. Because it shows. And I'm not taking anything away from Cody. I'm not. Not at all. I think Cody is a superstar. I think he is. But is he a mega superstar? No, he's not.
I don't think he's there yet, but
Nobody is.
yeah, exactly,
Not even Roman Reigns.
exactly. I don't think he's there.
Roman Reigns isn't a household name. A lot of people don't know who the hell Roman Reigns is. Unless you're directly watching the WWE, I don't give a shit how many ESPN interviews the guy does. He's not a household name. People talk about wrestling. Go where do they go? They go Hulk Hogan. They go The Rock. They go Stone Cold Steve Austin. Those are the three names
Right.
you're gonna bring up. You're not gonna bring up Roman Reigns. You ain't gonna bring up Cody Rhodes. You're not gonna bring up Seth Rollins. And that's no knock against him. It's just the time we live in.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I know it because I talk to people at work all the time about wrestling, and that's all they bring up. They have no idea who the hell Roman Reigns is, or the Bloodline, or any of that.
Okay. I mean, I get what you're saying there. To me, I think what they tried to showcase in this doc was the fact that he did have to leave and come back for his light to shine brighter, if that makes any sense. Because he did feel undervalued and he did feel underappreciated. And that Stardust gimmick, he obviously hated it. But probably was the best thing to happen to him.
Yeah, that Stardust, just watching that shit was cringe.
Very,
Yeah, I felt for Cody on that one. That was just
yeah,
cringe.
very, very interesting part in this documentary too, which I'm surprised they haven't used yet, was the whole the Dusty's kids shit. That whole take
Yeah,
on
yeah,
Dusty's kids.
yeah, Cody still, from watching this doc, Cody still has a lot of animosity about some stuff.
Very much,
Resentment
very
about some
much.
stuff.
It clearly still bothers him that
Yeah,
that was the case, and I'm really shocked. So not shocked in that sense, but there was reportings of like heat between him and Seth Rollins, like legitimate heat between him and Seth Rollins. I'm wondering if that's what it stems from.
it could be, but then again, now it seems like that heat has subsided because
Yeah,
Seth being in his documentary,
right.
he wouldn't have did the doc if
If there was heat, yeah,
right,
that's true too. That's true.
you know. So I don't know. I don't know, man.
That's a lot of people though, bro. Like you think of all the stars that came up under Dusty right now on the roster.
Yeah,
That's a lot of people, man. That's a lot of people that he had influence over, groomed for the position. And there's Cody in the doc. It clearly frustrated him.
yeah, and it still kind of frustrates him now.
Yeah, it has to. It has to. And I'm like, that story it needs to be told. Like it does need to be told.
And to me, I mean, he had to come back, and I don't know. To me, in a perfect world, after watching what I watched with the documentary, how Cody felt about certain things and really felt about the WWE, and how the writer acted like they were typing something on the keyboard, but the power was off on the damn thing.
That was crazy.
Yeah, like you're pretty much just a piece of shit. You're not even worth our time.
Bro,
I,
that was
I
crazy.
I think ultimately, from how do you use this in the story? It's very simple. You bring this back right here. That's how you do it.
Yeah. Like watching that documentary, I was like, that's the angle. And we've talked about it. We talked about it on the show a lot. If we were to bring back a version of the NWO, Cody would be the perfect guy to do it.
Absolutely.
That would be the perfect angle to do it in
Yep.
because it affects so many people. It does. It just does. So, and the main guy that it affects, Roman Reigns.
Absolutely. It affects Roman. It affects Seth. Seth. I mean,
The two champions.
the two
right
champions.
Now. Yep.
And it's like you would have to have a situation in a perfect world where Cody would have to be the ultimate heel, really the American Nightmare, he would have to do something so dastardly that even these two guys who don't really like each other would have to form an alliance together. No different than back in the day when Sting, Flair, Luger, and the Horsemen all had to join up together to fight the NWO. So
Yep.
they could do that with Cody. I don't know if they will, but it's the perfect catalyst for the story. Would be Cody is trying to basically kill the WWE because the WWE almost killed his career. If you want to think,
Right.
they killed his love for the business, his passion for the business, and I really, you know, I really resent Dusty's kids. I'm Dusty's kid.
Yes. I'm his real kid. He said
Yeah.
that in the documentary.
Right.
He's like, you could be Dusty's kids. I'm his actual kid.
Yeah.
And yeah, dude, there's so many ways you can go. There's so many ways you can go with
There's so
that.
many people that he can work with too. I mean,
Yeah.
there's the Kevin Owens, there's the Sami Zayns, there's the Roman Reigns, there's the Seth Rollins. There's so many cats that he can work with and make the story happen. You know what I mean? But you have to get people that are like minded. Another person on
Right.
that list would be the Miz as well. These are all guys that were all training under because Dusty worked for FCW before
Yep.
FCW became NXT. So it's a lot of people on that hit list that Cody could go after if he chose to go
Very
that.
much so. I do like the idea. Now, I like the idea of Damian Priest. Now, in this iteration of the NWO, somebody else in the Judgment Day, I'm gonna recommend for this role because right now he's in this story to where Seth fucked him up, and he's you almost killed you. Everything you have should be mine right now, and that's Finn Balor.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
I think him and Cody joining forces, and you just bring Priest along for the ride. You got a legit threesome right there.
Absolutely. That's actually a hell of a faction.
Yeah.
And what is Cody and Finn have in common? They were both part of the Bullet Club.
Yep.
So there you go.
There it is. Yeah, I like that. I like that.
Now, will they do that? Probably not.
Probably not. But if you're gonna pull the trigger on that one, that's the way you go.
We have more chances of them uploading episodes of Live Wire to the network than that ever happening, which ain't happening.
Livewire 96.
Yeah, Live Wire when it was actually the call-in show, those were fun shows.
Yeah.
Not when it was just a video show. The WWE has never been a company that liked transparency and liked people calling in asking questions. They're not really the fans of the smarts, even though that's what they cater to sometimes.
Like a guy named George from where did he say he was from?
Oh no, you talking about? We have Bruce from Connecticut,
Yeah, Bruce from Connecticut.
right? Paul Heyman.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
All right, man. Let's shift gears here a minute. So let's go to AEW. The Elite were reported to have signed new deals. Specifics haven't been really made yet, but one reporter said that at least one contract is for at least 4 years. That's about the gist that we got. Now they were on Dynamite tonight, and they did make the announcement that they re-signed, that they're going to be staying there. You won't be getting rid of them anytime soon. This could be leading to something. So, question for you, fabulous Frankie D, is what we know that there was no doubt that they were going to be staying.
Yeah, I didn't.
There was no doubt there, right? If any one of them would have been able to be picked up by another promotion,
Omega,
WWE, Kenny Omega, correct.
Yep. Yep.
Um, so with that came out a bunch of different reports that there may have been interest. Would it have been in Kenny Omega or would it have been in the Elite as a whole?
I don't think it would have been in the Elite as a whole. I think it was more Kenny Omega. And all the reports that were put out from Fightful, PW Insider, to Torch, whatever, site that you go to for your news, the big name that you heard about was Kenny Omega. That's
Right.
the guy that they were talking about. But right now, WWE has a freeze on talent. So they're not really bringing anybody in at the moment. So I don't see how that would have happened to begin with, especially right now when they're still doing the sell for with Endeavor. So I don't know if they necessarily think they're going to bring anybody in. I could be wrong, but I never for 1 second ever thought that the Elite were going to go to WWE. I don't know if Cody was talking to him. I don't know what the deal is with that, but how can you have AEW honestly without the Elite?
Right. Which is one thing that they said. Like we are the E in Elite.
Right.
And it didn't make sense if we left, then our foundation pretty much collapsed.
Right.
It would pretty much collapse.
Which is why I'm saying this too at this time. There is no doubt in my mind. I don't know what the personal issue is that Cody Rhodes has with AEW and whatever it is. Tony Khan isn't talking. Cody Rhodes isn't talking. I will make this prediction right now that when Cody Rhodes' contract does come up with WWE, I guarantee you he's going to wind up back in AEW.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
And that documentary left the door open for that.
Yeah. I think that because he has not come out and ever bashed AEW.
No.
He hasn't said don't watch AEW. He's actually said support him, watch him. Yep. That's what he has said.
He's been really smart about not crapping on people that he's done business with.
Exactly.
He's been really smart about that.
He knows the deal. Okay, just like Bruce Pritchard knows the deal, and that's why Bruce Pritchard has never quit his podcast, even though he's an executive at WWE, because they know if this shit don't work, if something goes right for me, or something goes left, I should say, then I got something to fall back on. So there's no doubt in my mind that Cody will end up back into WWE, guaranteed.
AEW.
I'm sorry, AEW. Yeah, he will end up. He will go from WWE and back to AEW.
I agree with that.
He whether people like it or not, listen, Cody is unofficially a member of the Elite. So he will end up back in AEW.
We like to talk that not we. People like to talk about the 4 pillars of AEW. Like really and truly, the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, and Cody Rhodes. Those are your 4 pillars.
Right. Well, I'll go further than that. I'll say your 6 pillars, if you want to go even further.
Okay.
You got them, but also add on to that, Heyman, Adam Page, and Chris Jericho.
Yep.
But you go on and on further than that. Who else would you add on? Well, John Moxley.
Yeah. I mean, pretty much anybody that was there day one, and really, I count day one as double or nothing, right? That's your true day one.
Anybody who was out there at the press conference that signed a contract, that was your day one ish.
Yeah,
that's your day one people. So Cody is the Elite, and Cody will end up back in AEW, guaranteed.
I would agree with that.
He's going to finish that story at the WWE and say, okay, I finished the story. I've done it. There's nothing for me to do here. But I didn't do something over there. I never got to be the AEW World Champion.
Yeah.
Oh, people got mad. Will say, "Oh, well, Triple H says, oh, well, they're a secondary promotion. I want to be the champion of a secondary promotion." Yeah. Okay. Here's the thing, but they are.
Eric Bischoff called WCW the secondary promotion. Exactly. So there's no shame in admitting that. Everybody knows.
Even when WCW was beating the WWF, that's what they were number 2.
Yep.
They were.
Everybody knows WWE is the big time. They were the big time when they decided to call themselves the World Wrestling Federation and get away from the territories and go worldwide. They
Yep.
were number one.
Yep.
And that's not an opinion. That's
That's a
just fact.
That's where
That's
it
just
was.
fact.
When we were talking about our demolition Road Warriors debate, I said it right there. I said it doesn't matter whatever they did on the outside. Didn't matter. When you come over to Vince, it's like you never did anything.
I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't go that far, but they are the number one promotion.
Oh, it is that far. They'll tell you that. They will tell you anything you did. This is the reason why so many guys come in and they change their personas. If they didn't feel that way, then Sami Zayn wouldn't be Sami Zayn. He would have been El
It'd be El
Generico.
Generico. Yeah,
Exactly.
I get that.
Kevin Owens would be Kevin Steen. It's also, they want to copyright the name, but you get what I'm saying. They want to leave your legacy at home, because anything you did before you got here don't matter to us. You're here, so you got to start at the bottom. Only time that didn't happen, it didn't matter. That was for
Ric Flair.
What for Flairs or Hall and Nash's, because they had already been here, or Hogan, you know what I'm saying,
Right.
or Macho Man or somebody like that. That's when it didn't matter.
No, I get that. But yeah, I do think that's gonna happen. The CM Punk situation with the Elite, I think it needs to be addressed.
Yep. That's their money
now
right there.
Yeah, I think now that they're staying there, you need to start addressing that shit.
That's the money, and they don't get that. That's the money right there. That's the money angle. That's the money, dude.
Make it happen.
You gotta make money in the wrestling business. That's what it's all about. It's all about drawing money. It's all about making that dollar and getting people in there. The story is already there, people. It's time for y'all to come together and get it cracking. The story is there. The story is the Elite and CM Punk. But CM Punk has some allies, FTR, with him. You get the people thinking that y'all really hate each other, but in reality, listen, let's all get together and
make this money.
Fucking money.
Yep, let's make this money.
Let's do some box office while we can.
Yep. Go ahead and make it happen, bro. Like y'all ain't going nowhere for the next couple years. Shit. Make the money. Go ahead and make it happen.
Exactly.
Make this happen. Speaking of CM Punk, something interesting happened tonight. So this goes back to Collision, which out of the two shows, I'm way more engaged in Collision than I am Dynamite. Although Dynamite tonight was decent, Collision has my attention. And something happened on Collision. He finally brought out the championship from the bag. He spray painted it with the X on it. He calls it the Real World Championship because legitimately he never lost it. He said that his blood was still on it from when he took that belt from Jon Moxley. His name is still on it because no one has beat him for that championship. He will be defending it at All In versus Ricky Starks, which I think is going to be a hell of a match. They had a great match in the Owen, great tag match. Ricky has come out on top in both of those matches, so there's incentive to give him a shot at it, which Punk said, you pinned me twice. You want to fight me for this belt? Then let's do it at All In, and they're going to be doing it All In. We talked about this before the show. The Real World Championship.
I like it.
You haven't heard that in a very long time.
Yeah, I like it. It's such a throwback to 1991 when Ric Flair went to the WWF and he had the WCW or the NWA World title with him, the big gold belt, and he brought it in. He was, had Bobby Heenan with the actual physical title before Ric Flair ever debuted on TV, and was calling Ric Flair the Real World Champion. I remember when he went, it was SummerSlam 91. Remember the match made in hell, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he had the belt, and he went and knocked on Hulk Hogan's door, and he says, "I am here on behalf of the real world champion." And he had the belt in his hand. He was trying to talk to Hogan. Or somebody slammed the door on his face. that was funny shit.
Yeah,
that was funny. So I liked it. It's a great throwback to that. People were like, "Oh, well, Punk had a can of spray paint a belt. Oh, that's original." we've seen it. We know where it came
We
from.
know, yeah, we know
We,
where
we,
that.
we know. All right, you're not really saying anything smart ass. We already know. All right, we already know. Everybody, it's just people want to they emulate stuff. So
Yep.
it is what it is. Now I would have preferred it had been a red X
Hmm.
myself, but
Hmm.
you go with the black. Black is cool. Black looks pretty good on the goal. We've seen it with Hogan. You know.
Yep.
So that's whatever. I like it. I like the angle. It's a very, very important thing for Ricky Starks. This right here makes Ricky Starks puts him up in the main event program at this point, in front of almost what's the total gonna be like? What 80 some thousand people at this point?
They're at 80,000, I believe, right
Okay,
now.
so
So
they're gonna break the record. But as somebody brought up, you really can't compare it breaking the record to SummerSlam because it's the same. Essentially, it's not the same thing. It,
it's not the Wembley Stadium
yeah, it's
that
not.
WWF sold out.
Yeah,
It's
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 gone
not that.
through renovations, so
Yeah.
it's not the I get it, but it's not, and I don't care.
So what I believe is that this stadium can fit upwards to 120,000 people,
Okay,
but they
uh,
have to open up layers for them to get that to that point. And I don't think they're at a level to where they can even open it up to fit 100,000. But
yeah, yeah,
I do know that specific stadium, that one is like the all time attendance record for like a concert or something
right.
in the world.
Well, I tell you what, the all-in card is actually shaping up to be pretty decent.
Mhm.
Um, but then they really risk because okay, so you're doing all in pay per view. I
Yep.
think what maybe what 50 60 bucks. Then you turn around and do an all out for next week. Yeah, that's kind of reminds me of remember back in the day in '91, Vince did Survivor Series, and then they turned right around and did this Tuesday in Texas.
Yeah.
So could we see history here? Now listen to this. Listen to this. I'll predict this right here. Predict the future. Ricky Starks beats CM Punk in England. CM Punk beats Ricky Stark in Chicago.
I can see that happening.
Or CM Punk beats Ricky Starks in England, but then he drops it to him in Chicago.
I like the latter.
Yeah.
I think you get more out of him going over in England.
I think you do too, just simply because of the crowd, the size of the
Yeah.
crowd, how that
Yeah.
would look. That would be a big deal. So that's what I'm
Yeah.
thinking. So basically, at
Yeah.
this point, guess what we're doing? We're copying 1991 WWF, which
It's
isn't a bad
okay.
thing. Which isn't a bad thing to do because
It's okay.
everything that we see in the business, we've already seen it before, anyways.
Well, I believe you have to copy a format because a lot of these people that are going to be on the All In card haven't wrestled in a arena or a stadium, let alone a stadium that's jam packed with that many people in it. That's going to be a completely new experience. Like you're going to see a lot of deer in the headlights look on this card because a lot of these people haven't done that shit before.
And I'm gonna tell you right now, listen, SummerSlam is this weekend. It's gonna be in Detroit. It's gonna be in a big ass stadium. I've said on this podcast before, WWE doesn't care about shit like that. They
They
do
don't.
stadium shows all the time. They don't care. I have a sneaking suspicion that they're going to be looking at this one though.
The all in card.
Yes, they're going. I think
Yeah.
they're going to be paying attention to this one
You have
just to
to.
see what they're going to do.
Yeah.
This is the first time this has happened. See, you remember back in the day, WCW would draw 40,000 people to in the Houston Astrodome or the Superdome in Louisiana or um, the Alamo Dome for
Mm-hmm.
fucking Nitro.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so of course they're going to be looking at this and seeing what they're going to do because right now, to me, listen, WWE is hot right now, but WWE is hot because of the bloodline. That's why they're hot. People just need to admit this. They're hot because of the bloodline. Yeah, they're doing sellout record business. Yes.
Yeah.
Does WWE have some quality stuff on the card right now? Yes, they do. Cody Rhodes. Okay? Cody Rhodes, Brock Lesnar, Seth Rollins. Yes. But on the SmackDown side, it's the bloodline. Bloodline's carrying that whole show. That's what people are there to see. People are there.
Bloodline's carrying the company.
Bloodline's carrying the company. You're absolutely
Yeah.
correct. They are carrying it. But eventually that shit's gonna fizzle out.
It has to.
Like I haven't even seen what happened on the SmackDown because I'm not really as invested anymore because we're on the tail end.
It's still a good.
It's still a good story,
show.
but it's not must see to me anymore like it had been. It's not. I got other shit I'm doing right now, so it's not must see. Like, oh damn, I gotta see what's happening. I gotta see what's cracking. You know what I mean? There's other stuff going on right now. I'm actually looking more into the evolution of Ricky Starks' character, or Jungle Boy, or I'm sorry, Jack Perry. Hollywood Jack Perry is what I would call him.
Dude, and I'm saying this because you're absolutely right. And it's all happening on Collision.
Yeah.
Like,
so that's why I'm more interested in what's going on over that side.
Yeah.
Because I've seen this story over here. I see what's going on over here. And my God, I'm gonna tell you the problem with the bloodline story. The problem with the bloodline story too is the fact that, my goodness, has Sami Zayn cooled off?
I did not consider how important Sami Zayn was to the story.
He was a big part of that story.
Yeah, I didn't consider that.
He was a big part.
Even after his angle was done,
yeah.
he was still important to the story.
He was.
Because you would catch him in these little exchanges with Jay.
He was supporting cast that story.
Still.
And you got nothing for him.
Right.
Nothing. You got nothing going on. It's not his fault, but it's just you can tell somebody's cooled off.
Right.
And I'm sure if I'm Sami Zayn, I'm like, damn, what do we got to do back here? And then you read the stories too that they're no longer going to push Riddle because of Riddle's outside issues, whatever he's got going on. So they're not going to push him any further.
That's weird. Yeah. I didn't even know about that.
Yeah, I read that story. Whether it's true or not, I don't know. But real quick here, you listened to Busted Open Radio this morning.
Yes.
And the greatest writer in the history of the business, Mr. Vince Russo, was on the show. So why don't you give us just a little bit of a summary of what Mr. Russo was talking about. And what since we started doing this podcast, back when we were wrestling with our thoughts, up into the No Gimmicks podcast, and when I was doing the Gurk Report podcast, grwck.net, okay, I always put over Vince Russo.
You did.
Because Vince Russo is a cool dude. I like Vince.
I had my issues with him, and this morning made me realize I don't have issues with Vince Russo. I shouldn't have issues with Vince Russo.
Right.
And so he was on there because Bash at the Beach 2000 was a topic of discussion. They just did Dark Side of the Ring on Bash at the Beach.
I gotta watch that.
I gotta watch it too.
Yeah. It's on. I think it should be on Hulu.
Right. So Vince Russo, he comes on and he just starts stating fact. Like, you can't refute the shit that he was saying. Right? Tag teams that he had made, things that he had been a part of that were successful, right? And his question was essentially, why don't I get the credit for the things that I've done right, but I get all the blame for something that I was there for that didn't go right? And I was like, you know what, Vince, that was a damn good statement. It was a good question.
Yeah.
Because a lot of fans like to attribute the downfall of WCW to Vince Russo.
Which is bullshit.
It's bullshit. I before this morning, I knew that was bullshit. So that was one of the factors. Like, okay, he's coming out and spitting facts, bro. Like, you were there. You were one of the head writers during the Attitude Era, right? You go to WCW, that doesn't pan out. However, you go to NWA TNA or whatever becomes TNA Impact, you're there, it's successful, right? During one of the booming periods, a lot of Kurt Angle is credited with having some of his best matches ever during this time period.
They were doing weekly on Spike TV, 1.4
They're doing
million viewers.
Exactly. He brought this up. And I'm like, I can't argue with this. You know what I'm saying? I can't. So it makes what happened in WCW, it's hard to say that it was his fault. Any of it. And we already knew that. And it's hard to say, like, okay, maybe you can make the claim that he needed someone to be like higher to him to check what he was putting across. Well, if you're going to say that, then it's totally not his fault. Because if Vince Russo was the last word, then it's pretty much like he's running it. You might as well let him run it. But if there was somebody there like an Eric Bischoff, it kind of makes it his fault too, if he was the man in charge. So it's kind of like, okay, yeah, that was bad, but this guy wasn't the end all be all in this equation. Well, so it's not his fault.
Well, the person that was actually so the time period you're talking about really around the Bash to the Beach 2000 time was that was around July 2000. So Bischoff and Russo were technically creative partners together, but I think the final person that had the final say so. I think that might have been a guy named don't quote me on this. I think it was named Bill Bush. I think it might have been Bill Bush, or what was the last guy?
But again,
but yeah, it's
that clears
But if it was a filter,
yes,
there Vince McMahon was the filter,
exactly.
So
like you can push all the ideas you want, right. But if there's somebody there that's like the last word, and this shit is still getting across, that makes it not Vince Russo's fault.
But in saying that, the Bash at the Beach incident, there's always been two stories about that part. About that.
There's the Hogan, and then there's
Bischoff's side, and then there's the Russo side. But then the thing about it is that Hogan actually never ever appeared again on WCW television, and then Hogan actually ended up suing WCW over it.
And Vince Russo.
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but they all worked together at Impact, but there was some heat there.
Yeah. But in that situation, I'm probably more inclined now to believe it Vince Russo.
Yeah, because the person I would believe in this situation the most, it would be Jeff Jarrett.
Yeah. But so in his defense of what that whole situation, Vince Russo on the radio was like, here's where I am when we did this documentary. He's like, I went on this thing not to bury anybody. I went over there. I didn't want to call people names. Like, I just wanted to go over there and tell my part in what happened in this thing. And he mentioned on the radio, he was like, we have beef. Not beef, we have heat. Me and Eric Bischoff behind what he was saying on this documentary. I haven't watched it. I need to go back and watch it. Also, he has heat with Dave Meltzer because he was like, he called Dave Meltzer like, if you're supposed to be a journalist and I bring numbers to you, which is what he did. He was like, if I bring numbers to you, Dave Meltzer, and you're supposed to be a journalist, where's my retraction? You're supposed to retract this. So I will give Vince Russo this. I may have harshly judged you, Vince Russo. I really may have harshly judged you incorrectly. And for that, I apologize. Because you showed me something this morning that you may come off as arrogant, which that's whatever. The truth is fucking arrogant. Whatever. It's truth. You didn't lie. You told your side of the shit and you didn't lie. So for my judgments on you, I apologize. That's my piece.
As you should.
No. It's being grown up, man.
Like, as you should. And you know the funny thing about it, I like Eric Bischoff too.
I do too.
Yeah, I like both these guys. I've interviewed both these guys, so I have no problem with either one of them. But when we have Neil Pruitt on next week, I'm gonna ask Neil Pruitt what did he think about Bash of the Beach 2000? What does he know about Bash of the Beach 2000? Because he was there. So, yeah, fun times. But I'm glad that you could see what I've been saying all the time about Vince Russo.
Yeah.
It's not a bad guy. I like Jim Cornette too. I can listen to Jim Cornette for hours talk about the past. talk about Crockett and NWA and all the stuff and Jim Hurd. I can listen to it for hours. I do. When I'm at work, I'm passing time listening to Jim Cornette talk. I can listen to it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So, it's just the numbers don't lie when it comes to Vince Russo. Vince Russo was booking the WWF at the hottest point when it was the most eyeballs were in the business. People can't refute that anymore.
True.
We can say that we're in a boom period for the business. The company's making more money. Yeah, the company's making more money off of TV. Rights fees is what it is. That's how the company's making more money these days. TV rights fees is a big part of it. So longer and on top of that too, it's WrestleMania. WrestleMania draws a lot, and they sell tickets. I'm not going to dispute any of this stuff. But to say that wrestling is in some sort of a boom period, that's bullshit. It's not. WWE's in a boom period right now.
Yeah.
Not everybody else. Usually when it's a boom period, it trickles down to the other companies. Back in the day when it was a Monday Night War and WCW was beating the WWF, it was trickling down to WWF was starting to come up. When both companies were at its height, guess what was happening? The indies was blowing up. All the indies were selling out. Everybody wanted to be a wrestler. Everybody was buying the merchandise. That's what was going on.
Yeah.
You don't really see that now. You kind of see it a little bit, but it's not booming like it was.
No, because even on this show, when I interview people, like it's rare that you get an influence from somebody modern.
Yeah.
It's rare. Like the one, maybe two. I had one that was a Sasha Banks and another one that was it. That was the only modern one.
Yeah.
Everybody else, you got to go back. You got to go back to the Attitude Era.
Exactly. In the golden era, you go back to because those guys were characters. Those guys knew how to use psychology. You look. That's what kind of kills me about AEW. You got fucking Jake the Snake Roberts back there. Who knows more about the psychology of this business and what to do and what not to do and what time to do it than Jake
Please
Roberts.
make this man an agent or something, bro. Like, don't just have him back there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like, dude, like promo. Who cuts better promos than Jake Roberts?
Just the intensity without having to be intense.
Exactly.
Is a fucking art, bro. Like,
you never heard Jake Roberts.
He didn't have to yell.
He didn't have to yell. He didn't have to do any of that. Jake would speak so softly in his promos.
And you think he was going to kill you.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yes.
So you're talking about underutilized. That's Jake Roberts.
Yes. Like, please make this man an agent or something. Something. But yeah. All right, man. Last of the Mohicans. SummerSlam predictions. You ready?
Good.
All right. So starting us off on the pre-show. This was supposed to be like a big event, but I don't think it got a lot of steam behind it. Becky Lynch versus Trish Stratus is happening on the pre-show.
Why is that match happening on the pre-show?
Because it didn't get a lot of backing, bro.
Why is that?
I don't know.
maybe it's the fact, and I'm not knocking her, but maybe it's the fact that just Trish Stratus's day is no longer here anymore.
I don't know. I don't know because she started this feud off hot.
No, it started off hot, but then again, okay, does the modern audience really know Trish Stratus and what she did
No,
in the WWE? No, they don't.
no, no.
And so I
Which
think which is you got a whole fucking network out there. You got the whole video library that you can show what Trish Stratus did. I mean, Trish is out there having a thank you Trish, but I just think what it comes down to is that people just aren't into it because I don't think they want to boo Trish Stratus. They're not.
yeah,
That's kind of what it is. I think it's a waste of time. Ultimately, yeah, I'm gonna go with Becky Lynch to get the win.
I want to go with Trish because I do like her introducing Zoe Stark to us.
I ain't got no comment on that one.
I like Zoe Stark.
I ain't got no comment.
I do think Zoe Stark is the future, but that's just me.
That's you.
All right, cool, fair enough. All right, Austin Theory versus Santos Escobar.
All right, so let me tell you this right quick, bro. So Austin Theory at WrestleMania this year had the biggest match of his career against John Cena,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm gonna be completely honest with you right now. This belt right here, which is what they're wrestling for, means absolutely nothing because Austin Theory has been booked like shit, as if he never wrestled John Cena. So if I want to put a wrinkle in this situation and I want to do something different, I'm going to go with Santos Escobar to get the win.
I'm gonna agree with you. I'm going to agree with you.
Yes.
Santos Escobar, barring a Rey Mysterio injury, I thought he was walking into this match and walking out surefire champion. I still think he's gonna walk out champion.
I wish he. I hope he walks out as champion and he turns heel.
I want this.
Mexican United States champion. That's the
I want
leader of
this.
the LWO faction.
I want this.
It would be fucking heat magnet, dude.
Yes.
But the problem is Santos is too popular now as
This is
babyface.
true. This is true. He is very popular as a babyface.
Yeah. So and he didn't used to be that way. So
Yeah. Backlash changed a lot for him. Not even Backlash because he wasn't even that popular at Backlash, but afterwards it was the residual effects of the LWO at Backlash that got him there.
all right.
Plus, he's a really good worker. I like him.
Yeah, he's a shit.
Yeah, I like him. Rhea Ripley versus Raquel Rodriguez. They're not taking this belt off of Rhea.
And this is a dud.
Yeah, let's just face it.
This is they've done nothing with Rhea since she's won that championship.
But she's still gonna be popular though.
Rhea is gonna be very popular when she turns babyface. There's a lot of people yes, there's a lot of girls out there, little girls out there that like Rhea Ripley.
That's true.
I've seen it in the house shows.
That's true.
Because she does when she comes out in house shows, she don't have all that shit on her face, all that makeup on her face. She just comes out as herself. And I think she looks better. Rhea Ripley is a very attractive woman.
She's very pretty.
Yeah.
I keep telling people this. Like Rhea Ripley is very pretty. I have to tell my wife this. Like, yo, Rhea Ripley reminds me of Ruby Rose, if you know who Ruby Rose is.
No.
She's Australian too. She was in there's an Australian show that's like Orange is the New Black called Wentworth. She was in that show.
Okay.
Actually, she may have been in Orange is the New Black, honestly. But she's like an Australian actress. But she looks like Rhea Ripley. And I was like, yeah, she's really pretty without all the goth shit.
Yeah.
So.
But I'm gonna go with Rhea Ripley to retain.
Yeah, I'm going Rhea too. Tag team championships. Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn versus the Judgment Day, which is Damian Priest and Dom.
I am going to go with Zayn.
Zayn and Owens?
Yep.
This is a tricky one for me.
I don't see them putting another belt on
Dom?
Dom because Dom's already the what is he the
North American
champion.
You can have him. Oh, this would be now that would be nuclear heat. If they did go over and he did have 2 belts, I could realistically see this as a win for them. Honestly,
I don't know. I don't really see the tag team belts just don't mean shit.
They don't. But look at Judgment Day right now. Everybody has a belt except fucking Finn Balor. Well, Damian Priest doesn't have a belt either, but right. He has the Money in the Bank briefcase. He has that.
So that's another reason why I wouldn't put the belts on because that's too much shit for Damian Priest to carry around.
Okay.
You know, he has to carry that Money in the Bank briefcase around the airport. Now you got to carry 2 belts in the damn briefcase.
That's true. All right.
They'll put the. I'm like, no, I don't want to carry all that shit. I barely want to carry his briefcase.
All right. Fair enough. Kevin and Sami.
Yep.
Fair enough.
If Kevin can even compete, because he has an injury.
Oh yeah, that's true.
A legit injury.
That's true. He did get hurt a couple weeks back.
Yeah.
Then we got a SummerSlam Battle Royal, 20-man. I'm gonna give you my winner right away. I don't know who all's in this one, but LA Knight's in it, so LA Knight's winning it.
Yeah,
that's pretty much how that's gonna go.
That's kind of dry.
That's pretty much how that's gonna go. LA Knight's in it. He's gonna win it. And did they make this because he wasn't in a match at SummerSlam?
I don't know. That could be the case, but it's just a worthless throwaway battle royal.
Yeah, he's gonna win that shit, and it's gonna be massive because the crowd loves him. It's gonna be massive.
They love him for now.
For now,
so they get bored.
Yeah, that's true. Fans are fickle.
Yep.
Then we have Ronda Rousey versus Shayna Baszler in the MMA rules.
No interest in this match whatsoever. But if I had to pick somebody, I would pick Shayna Baszler.
I'm kind of interested in this one, only because it's an MMA rules match. Now, how are they going to make this a legitimate fight? Because it's MMA rules.
I don't know.
That's going to be interesting. And 2, so a couple questions out of this one. How are they going to make this look legit? 2, if it is legit, there's a prospect for blood in a women's match. I don't know how far WWE is going to want this to go. But that possibility is there.
I don't know. I honestly don't really care. I just have no interest in it at all. I couldn't care.
This one I kind of want to see, just to see what's going to happen in this match. But I'm with you. I think Shayna Baszler takes this one. The story leading up to this one has been decent for the both of them because it's in their lane. It establishes the history of them two. They've been telling a pretty good story with this one. Now, the match itself, I want to see it just to see how far they go with this one. That's it.
Yeah. Well, if I had to pick a winner, I'm going to go with Baszler.
Yeah, same. Logan Paul versus Ricochet.
I don't care.
Yeah, this was
Yeah, I'm just.
I haven't been a fan of it. I'll just say it. I haven't been a fan of this story.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of Logan Paul, so I have no interest in anything he does.
It's not even that I'm not a fan of him. I could not be a fan of him and appreciate his ring work, which I do. I appreciate his ring work. But this story has not. It's not pulled me in. I'm sorry, it hasn't. They tried to inject Samantha Irwin in it. It just didn't work for me. I could have did without this one.
Yeah,
What?
that's some shit you could have on a pre-show.
Yes,
You
yes.
could take that
Swap
U.S.
this.
title match and put that on the damn main show, and take this bullshit and put it on the pre-show.
Yeah, I haven't been invested in it. But this one I am. Gunther versus Drew McIntyre.
I'm picking Drew McIntyre.
Really?
Yeah, Drew McIntyre is in need of a big win. He's overdue.
Oh man, it's so hard for me to go
And
against
just honestly, just because Gunther has had the Intercontinental Championship for so many days, it doesn't really mean shit. Because how many times has he defended that Intercontinental Championship?
He defends it quite a lot, actually.
Well, good. But like I said, Drew McIntyre is in need of a big win. I mean, Drew McIntyre had the WWE Universal Championship match at Clash at the what was it? Clash at the Castle. He lost, so he's in
Yeah.
need of a big win. You bring Drew McIntyre back to job him out.
I don't think there's going to be a job, but fuck, it's going to be a hard hitter for sure. For sure.
Yeah,
Oh man, I don't know, man. I don't know. It's
I'm
hard
going
for
with
me to
Drew.
say Gunther's going to lose this one.
I'm going with Drew.
All right, I'll go against the grain. I'll go Gunther.
Cool.
It's hard for me to
I'm
say.
going with Drew just simply because I don't want to see Honky Tonk Man's record broken, and I
I
just
know
don't.
that.
And I just don't think that you don't bring Drew McIntyre back and job him out.
I get that, but also
It's not good business.
I listen. You're talking a great game. You are, but I do think that they're going to have him beat Honky Tonk's record.
Well, but I mean, okay, even if he does, I mean, okay, if you have a guy, and this is the problem you run into with the Roman Reigns experiment. This is the same problem they ran into with the Hulkamania experience. If you have a guy as a champion for so long, I don't need to watch the show because I already know how this shit's going to end. He's going to beat him.
Yeah, but
So give me a surprise. Let the guy lose.
no, they're not going to do that. I don't think they're going to do it.
Okay. So basically, what you're saying is that Drew McIntyre is a piece of shit. He's a
I'm
former
not saying
he's
that.
a
I'm
former
not.
WWE champion, but
No, I,
he can't beat Gunther, even though he's much more muscular than Gunther. He's bigger than Gunther, but he can't beat him.
I don't think that they will have Gunther lose this match. I
Okay.
just don't. I don't believe it.
Okay. Well, if McIntyre doesn't win the Intercontinental belt, the fucking Intercontinental belt, then that shows me right there that he probably isn't resigning with the company.
I'm not saying now listen, I don't think Drew wins this match. I'm not saying that just because he loses this match, he loses value. He could very
Oh,
well go into
you
this.
very well
I
lose
don't think
value.
so.
Oh hell
I
yeah. How do you lose? You lose every time you're in a championship match. You lose.
I don't
Yeah,
I
you
don't
lose value, bruh. Sorry, that's the way it goes. You lose
I
value.
don't
You
think that's a
cannot go out
bad
there.
thing.
You can't go out there and fucking be out there with Roman Reigns. Oh, and you lose. Then you come back to the next stadium show, which is a big ass PLE, and you lose again. Why am I going to watch a loser?
Wow. I think he could lose this match and gain value.
No, your
I,
your
I
your
do.
philosophy is that he can lose the match, and it won't hurt him. It does hurt him. You know,
I
this
don't
ain't
think
this
it
ain't
does.
this ain't Hall and Nash back in the day where they can lose a match and it don't hurt them. They can do a job and it doesn't hurt them. This is a different time now. It's going to hurt Drew. It hurt Drew when he lost, and then they did a sing along at the end of the fucking show. It does.
Okay, I get
Wasn't he
that.
involved? Wasn't he involved in WrestleMania? It was what was it? A triple threat match, right? It was him, Drew, and Sheamus, correct?
Yeah.
For the IC belt, and he lost there too.
Yeah, but you could have him in this
Shit.
match.
He ain't a fucking jobber.
No, he's not. But I don't think you
That's
can.
all he's been doing.
No,
If he's not jobbing, then he's on the injury reserve list or whatever the situation may be, and then he comes back. I'm not going to invest in, okay, we'll bring you back just for you to job to Gunther after you've already done that at WrestleMania.
I don't think
For the same championship, by the way.
I know, but
Yeah.
I don't. There's a way.
Hey, let me ask you this question. So what's Sheamus's value nowadays?
Other than that's a good question.
Yeah.
Sheamus as a performer, as a in-ring competitor, not much there right now. However, him being there with Butch has elevated Butch. Him being with the Brawling Brutes has elevated those guys.
Elevated them how?
Butch is on his way to being a competitor himself.
Okay, but when we talk elevation, we're referring to championship wins. We're talking merch sales. That's what we're talking about.
Okay, I'm talking popularity.
We don't give a shit about any of the other shit. So
he's
tell
on
me
his
how
way,
tell me how he's been elevated. Are the fans chanting Butch when he's out there wrestling?
Yes.
They are?
Yeah.
They're chanting Butch.
Yes.
So
they're chanting for him.
So it's not the Thunderdome piping in cheers.
No.
You sure about that?
Yes.
Okay.
This is not a Dom situation.
I remember when the NWO were inducted into the Hall of Fame, and they were inside the Thunderdome, and they were doing their speech, and the fucking audience said, "Too sweet." So we sure about that?
No, this isn't the choir yelling this shit. No.
Okay. I just don't see it myself, and it goes back to Gunther and Drew McIntyre. Listen, I'm not taking anything away from Gunther. Gunther has one of the best theme songs in the whole damn company. I'm not taking anything away from him or his work. I have no problem with him whatsoever. I'm just saying, for me, it's not good business for me to job out a guy that looks like Drew McIntyre.
Okay. Fair enough.
I'm going to pick Drew McIntyre.
Fair enough.
If I was in a booking room and somebody voted against that, I'll say you are out of your fucking mind.
I'm out of my mind because I'm going Gunther.
You go right ahead, son.
Gunther for history.
You go right ahead, Alex. You go right ahead. Gunther.
All right, we got a triple threat: Asuka, Bianca, Charlotte. I'll tell you who's not gonna win. We have to go process of elimination.
Okay, I am gonna go. It has to go to Charlotte.
Ding ding ding! Yeah. Circle gets the square.
Yeah, it has to go to Charlotte because if what happens is it could set up a Bianca heel turn if she doesn't win.
Yep, and she don't have to get pinned.
Right. Sorry, but they just don't.
They don't value Asuka.
They don't value Asuka at all. They don't.
Nope. Nope.
Asuka, unfortunately, is a transitional champion.
Crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy. How hot she was in NXT.
Crazy.
Yeah.
She went through what? Damn near 2 years undefeated.
Yep.
So she can't even. She's a transitional champion. You are absolutely correct. The last time she held this thing is because Becky Lynch got pregnant. Only to lose that shit. crazy. That is crazy.
Hold on, we got a little bit of breaking news right now. I don't know how true this is. Okay, so this is from AEW Dynamite tonight. This is MJF came out. I guess after Dynamite went off the air. MJF out now. So everybody was out there thinking Tony Khan had all the roster on the stage and all that, right? So he says, before AEW, there was only one show in town to make money, WWE. He said he had interest from WWE, but he held out and joined up with visionaries who would let him be who he wanted to be. He thanks Tony Khan for making him a very rich man in 2024.
What an ass.
Yeah.
What an ass.
So, take that for what you take it as.
That was a compliment with
I
a
guess.
backhand attached to it.
Right.
Thank you for making me a very rich. That means you better fucking pay me, or I'm leaving. I'm leaving.
Right. That's kind of where you kind of. I don't think MJF is going anywhere.
I don't think he is either.
Yeah.
I don't think he is either.
Let's get back to our SummerSlam predictions here.
All right.
I call it Summer Scam.
All right. World Championship, World Heavyweight Championship. Seth Rollins, Finn Balor.
I am going to go out on a limb here, and I want a surprise. I say give it to Finn. Finn deserves it.
I like
but they're going to keep it on Seth. There he hold on.
I saw the light bulb.
Hold on. Yeah. Hold on. So
I saw the light bulb go off.
Yeah.
I was like, it's coming.
So I would book this like this. Finn Balor wins.
Go ahead, say it.
Damian Priest comes out. And Damian Priest is going to be out there like, oh, hey, congratulations, yada, yada, yada. Drops that motherfucker. Cashes in the Money in the Bank and beats him and becomes World Heavyweight Champion.
Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah. So, I'm going to go with Finn with a second title change with Damian Priest cashing in Money in the Bank.
Yes. I believe they were setting this shit up since Money in the Bank.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Give me a surprise.
Yeah.
Give me something.
Yeah, I think this is the payoff. They've been setting this up since Money in the Bank. Finn beats Seth. He gets his revenge, only to get stabbed in the to get stabbed in the back. Yep. I believe that's the case.
Yep.
So yeah, I'm gonna say Finn, but I'm also gonna say Damian Priest cashes in because Damian Priest is on early in this show.
He sure is.
They will lose, but he will ultimately win.
Yep. I believe that.
Yeah. All right. Cody Rhodes, Brock Lesnar.
I gotta go with Cody. Gotta go with Cody.
I'm gonna say Cody as well.
Yeah.
Although Brock
wait.
Lesnar at SummerSlam.
Who won at Backlash?
Cody.
Oh,
he had the broken arm, right? He had a broken arm, right?
He did. That's what he had
at Backlash. I believe so.
So
if that was the event he won.
If that's the case, I got to go with Brock then, because that's usually the way wrestling works. One person goes over this one, and then I get the win the next time around.
So I was going to bring up the point. Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam has a brutal record.
Yeah,
he
of losing.
Yeah,
it's time to break that record. So I'm going to go with Brock Lesnar.
I may be inclined to go Brock Lesnar too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Brock takes this one. And then finally, tribal combat: Roman Reigns versus Jey Uso for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship.
I'm gonna go with Roman Reigns to beat Jey Uso with an assist from Jimmy Uso.
You think Jimmy turns?
Yep.
Hmm, interesting.
Which would make no fucking sense. But this whole feud makes no sense because Jay didn't want to be tribal chief.
True. Neither did Jimmy.
Right.
Hmm.
Either that happens or somebody from the outside comes in.
Who are
But
you thinking?
Roman's not gonna lose because Roman already got pinned at Backlash.
And Money in the Bank.
Money in the Bank. There you go. So, actually, matter of fact, that's where Cody and Cody wrestled Brock was Money in the Bank. It wasn't Backlash. My bad. It was Money.
It was Money in the Bank.
They wrestled Backlash too, right?
Yeah, they did.
Okay. See, I don't keep it with anything except the bloodline.
So, who are you thinking shows up from the outside?
You got Solo.
My pick would be Solo.
Yeah. Solo does something. And
Yeah.
if Roman does lose, okay, Solo turns on Roman.
I could see that happening.
Wise Man turns on Roman.
I don't know about that one.
You don't have any. Why would he? But Solo turns on Roman, but that doesn't make Solo a babyface.
It doesn't.
So then Roman would have to be a face, which is the plan all along, anyways.
The plan is for him to see the error in his actions. I don't think we walk out of here with that in hand, unless he loses this match.
I'm gonna go with my original. I'm gonna go with Roman beating with help from Jimmy Uso. That's what I think. It can be help on purpose or it can be inadvertent.
I'm gonna say Roman by way of a solo help.
Could be. I don't know. Who knows? Could be Rikishi. Could be 052 come down. Who knows?
If they end up, so this whole tribal combat, it leads me to believe someone else is coming in.
Yeah.
Who that someone is, it could be Rikishi, it could be Alpha and Sika, it could be.
Well, what are Alpha and Sika gonna do?
They're not gonna do anything, but their presence could prompt something.
No, I don't know about that.
Or you have them spectate the shit. I really want to know who's gonna be there though.
Yeah.
Because you know family's gonna be ringside. This.
I guess the way to find that out is to watch it on WWE Network.
I'm inclined to go live watching this one, but I don't know.
Go right ahead. If people can't afford to Peacock, I don't know what the fuck you're doing.
Oh man, but that's the predictions for SummerSlam. Final thoughts. What you got?
Final thoughts is I got nothing.
Wow, that's rare. Not even spay your pets? Nothing?
Nah, I don't really care about that right now.
Okay. Damn. So much for the animals.
Yeah, well, you know what? Do you people really listen? I tell you every week to help control the pet population. Have your pets spayed or neutered. Keep your pets from out the sun. All right, keep your pets from off the hot pavement because the paws get all burned and shit. You dig what I'm saying? But other than that, I got nothing except next week, big week for No Gimmicks.
Yep.
Next Tuesday, Neil Pruitt right here on No Gimmicks Podcast. Next Wednesday, Ahmed Johnson, former WWF Intercontinental Heavyweight Champion. Gonna tell all right here on No Gimmicks Podcast.
Out in public.
We're gonna
If
get
you
funky like a
will.
monkey. We're gonna get funky like a monkey and go all the way to the penguin, baby.
I'm gonna get funky with you.
Exactly. But other than that, I ain't gonna announce. That was it.
All right. Don't forget, we got a whole bunch of other stuff coming from DFPN. Shout out to all the shows, man. Great week. If you guys didn't watch the USDN episode, the interview they did with Drew Moss, please go watch that shit. That was impressive. I was impressed. And I got a drawing out of it. So.
And also, don't forget, in order to be a part of these monumental interviews next week, you have to be a Patreon member because these are going to be Patreon exclusive. So it's the DFPN on Patreon.com. Check it out for as little as $3. All right.
Yes.
As little as $3, you can get all this content from not only No Gimmicks Podcast, but the USD, and you get the patio with Kim. You got the smoke pit,
real food.
You know, you got so much stuff over there. Why not? All right, $3 DFPN right here. Definitely Podcast Network. We doing our shit, big things in 2023 and beyond. So y'all need to get up right here with No Gimmicks.
Yes, sir. All right, man. With that being said, thank you guys for tuning in to the No Gimmicks Podcast on the DFPN. Until next week, you guys take it easy. Come back, have fun. But until then, enjoy the fucking wrestling, people. Peace.